Hi, I have time between my next session, so I thought that I would come on here and just do a little bit of my own talking, processing, breathing. So something happened today and I want to share it, but I want to share it mindfully because I still have a ton of respect for this person. But this person is an incredibly prominent person in the carnivore community who has helped me and us to, I believe, embrace every stage of our carnivore journey, especially the part where we heal and move on. Especially because she has said things like, you know, my kids eat carbs and my husband eat carbs and I love them no less, right? And I'm not expecting this person to love me. I'm a complete stranger, but she was following me at one point up until today. And so I have a very small Instagram account. I am not here to influence. I'm not trying to change your life per se. I'm just trying to actually become a little bit more confident in front of the camera. And if my story resonates with somebody, then I've helped somebody. And that helps me to feel like a job well done. My cat is eating the cord. Needless to say, that was the only way I was able to kind of figure out why she was no longer sharing a space with me. Let me just start from the beginning. I'm a licensed marriage and family therapist. My name is Katie Zarko. I live in Hawaii. I'm a mom of two, obviously, and a mom to fur creatures as well. I am here to be my authentic self. I started to share some therapy videos when I first started my YouTube space, 8 months ago, and then took a hiatus and then started posting my carnivore journey because that started July 1st and I needed a space to just kind of be me. And I was off of Instagram and needed that kind of a break from that space, mostly because I was redefining myself. So I'm here at this point after doing carnivore for 100 days, healing what I needed to address and getting to the root cause of my own inflammation and maybe stressors through trial and error, that I am going to get a breast explant. And I'm doing that in 3 weeks from now. So I'm in the midst. I've made the decision, but also coming on here and talking about it is part of solidifying that decision. So yes, I'd be lying if I said I wasn't scared, but I'm doing this because I'm here to live my best life, not my, most busty life. These have nothing to do with who I am. So they have their own story, and I'm planning on sharing that really soon, but I don't want to digress too much from the point of my share. So because my carnivore journey, it didn't come to any crazy screeching halt, I just evolved. And I think I reached my point of healing, and my brain said, energy, just give me energy. It wasn't like, let's have ice cream or drink wine or open that bag of Lay's potato chips. It was none of that. It was, please, dear God, give me energy. And especially energy to do the things that I love, which is play with my kids. And I was feeling really lethargic. So I changed my tune. I went a little bit more animal-based, and that is still under, apparently, because I've been tracking, under about 70 carbs, some days even less than that, a day. I'm happy. I am in a good place. And because I'm honest, I try and I'm not here to hide myself. I want to be honest with every part of me that's changing. And so a place where I've been expressing myself is in my Instagram stories. So it's nothing crazy, but I share more or less what I eat in a day or whatever I'm doing with food creations, and fruit has popped itself kind of into my stories. So I noticed that Kelly Hogan had stopped following me, and I was like, oh man. I also had a fear that maybe she stopped following me because my last post could have maybe come off a little bit too provocative, and I know that she's a very spiritual woman. She's a woman of God. And I respect that. So I was thinking, oh, well, maybe I kind of offended that part of her. But I actually went so far, forgive me, but I went so far as to ask Kelly herself, hey, I noticed I lost your followership. Any reason why? Needless to say, she wrote me back the next morning and she said, no offense, Katie, if I had known that you would have seen me stop following you, I wouldn't have stopped following you. But the reason I did it was because I'm a food addict, and if I see fruit and carbs in people's stories, it doesn't align with my meat eating ways. That was the gist of her message back to me, and I was like, totally understand, right? Like, I've been in Food Addicts in Recovery Anonymous when I was 21 and just starting my recovery journey. That was 20 years ago. Everything I ate went onto a food scale. Actually, the thing that attracted me the most to Kelly Hogan herself was that she spoke of food addiction, something I know incredibly well. And part of the reason I'm no longer in that program or abiding by those 12-step principles is because, again, I have evolved, I have changed. I believe wholeheartedly, and you'll hear me say this, that the road of recovery leads to peace and freedom. And you don't want to be recovering for the majority of your life. You want to reach peace and freedom and live out that iteration of your life. That's where I'm going. And so you're going to come, you're going to go, you're going to take what you want, you're going to leave the rest. You might not resonate with me, you might not like me. Like, I have to accept all those things when I'm going to come online. But she unfollowed me because I started sharing that I'm eating fruit. So it reminded me of this video that she recently posted. And like, let me just pause myself and be really clear here. I love and respect this woman. She inspired so much of my carnivore journey. The falling upon one of her YouTube videos where I was like, I'm just going to do this. And I dove in the next day. So if it wasn't for Kelly, I wouldn't be here, talking so openly about this. She had shared this video, and I listened to it recently, probably like last week or the week before, about you've changed. And she spoke about this story of somebody who's come to pass, who was in her life, who kind of called her out for changing. And the story was kind of about how he passed because he didn't change, and he stayed attached to his old kind of diabetic inducing ways, and rather than change like she was, he passed. And I recalled that story when I got this response back from her, and I was like, but I changed. But of the 4,000 people she continues to follow, of which I am not one, I know those people, at least some of them, are eating some carbohydrates. So this is where I'm like, I'm doing all right. I'm okay. Like, you win some, you lose some, right? So it also helped me to put into perspective, and I hope that this helps somebody, where, I don't know about you, but when you're healing and you're risking and you're making yourself very vulnerable, you're likely going to idolize a few people on the path. Ken Berry, Anthony Chafee's girlfriend, Elle, Rena from Primal Podcast, you name it, maybe Dave Mack, like whoever. You are going to pick your person and you're going to be like, that's the person who rings true in my ear, who sings to my heart, and I'm going to follow in their shadow. It's naturally what we do as vulnerable humans, and I am no different. And so Kelly was somebody who I kind of was symbolic of, like the carnivore. She just emulated everything carnivore that I wanted to be and become, until I realized I wasn't meant to become. And some things are meant to be, they're not meant to last. And I don't know if you've ever idolized somebody in the past and you've come to find out if they were like a really shitty person, or they cheated on their wife, or they, abandoned their children, or in their personal life they were a shit person, but on the screen they were great. Like, I don't know if you've ever idolized somebody only to come to find out that they weren't as great in the background of their life as they were in the foreground where everyone sees. But I have done this many times throughout my life, where even my, especially like my yoga teacher, who's actually a really close friend of mine, I held her in the highest regard. I put her on a pedestal because I needed someone to look up to. And I think that as, little vulnerable children, and that inner child in all of us, we're kind of doing that in carnivore, or any other time we're vulnerable. We've probably done it with boyfriends and girlfriends and bosses. And I don't think it's any fault to us as humans. I think it's natural to lean on people for support. And then there comes a point, like this point for me this morning or last night, when I realized this with the Kelly thing, that maybe I take Kelly off the pedestal. Maybe Kelly got to be human just like me and you, and what this helps to do is put us on an even plane. Because I think for the right person, she's the absolute perfect role model. And if you've ever heard that quote, you'll never be enough for the wrong person. You'll always be enough for the right one, though. So that said, I think I'll leave this video kind of brief, but I wanted to share that. I kind of wanted to just get it off my chest. I will be discussing more about this explant that's very quickly approaching my, the woman from the office called me today, so I'm just gonna be filling out some paperwork. I'm excited to document how it is that I heal throughout my space. I'm going to be making lots of bone broth. I would love your suggestions if you have any. I'm going to be making bone broth, preparing protein. I'll be, I'm sure there'll be some fruit in the mix, like papaya and very cleansing fruits like watermelon that will hydrate me and maybe just feed my brain and make me feel good, and be getting sleep. And I've got red light, and I'm sure that there's other ways to heal, drain, and support the lymphatic system here in Honolulu. If you know of any, I'm more than open to suggestions. Until then, I'm going to yoga, trying to keep my body and my mind very fit in preparation for it. And staying close to my people, my kids, and this little community. So I will leave this at that, and stay tuned. If there's anything that you'd like me to touch on, I'm more than happy to do that. I love being prompted, so please let me know if there's anything I can discuss, and we'll go from there. Okay, thank you. Aloha.